What's up, guys? It's Jim with Awaken TCG, bringing you guys another One Piece TCG sim video today. Today, we are going to be playing Blue and Yellow Ace, the new leader included in Starter Deck 13. If you guys don't know, the new Starter Deck 13, will be coming out in the next 2 days, the 19th of April to be exact, on Friday. Very excited for these decks, and I know a lot of people are too. We made a couple videos talking about them before, so I'm not going to go into detail on the details of the decks. We're just going to be talking about Ace today, because out of the three leaders, I think I've seen the least amount of hype from Ace. I've seen Sabo videos, I've seen a ton of Black Yellow Luffy videos. He's going to be a big meta staple, but I have not been seeing a lot of Ace videos. And I think it's kind of for good reason. Like, if you look at the results from the East when they got these decks, Ace was probably the least performing compared to the other two. However, that does not change the fact that I'm really looking forward to this leader above the other two for myself. And I think he has a lot of potential. And I think people really are not running this leader how they should be. Choosing to go other routes when I think there's really only one thing you need to focus on, and that is just the Three Brothers package and getting this consistently off your leader effect per turn. Obviously, you're not going to always get one of these Three Brothers off your leader effect, so we have other 5-drops like our Satori 2K or X-Drake, who is also just a great card to play out in other points in the game. So the main thing with this leader that I think people have problems with is they'll get something in life and they won't have anything to do with it. So that life just gets bottom decked. So like, say we get a Sabo into life and then I don't have a baby Sabo in my hand. You need cards to make use of that Sabo in life that are not just this baby Sabo. So that's the other cards I have in this deck. So we have cards like Hiyori, which can convert that Sabo into a draw as well as a heal 1. Very, very strong. We have our other 2K Makino here, which comes with the starter deck, so you can add the top card or bottom card of your life, but we're always grabbing the top after we do leader effect. And then we can look at all of our life cards and know what we're dealing with for the rest of the game. Very strong option there, especially if you're going first. As on your 3-down turn, you can do leader effect, and if you have Makino in hand, you can make use of her. As well as other cards I really just don't see these decks running, which is Thunderbolt. I think Thunderbolt is amazing in this deck. If I get like an X-Drake on life and I have nothing to do with it, it just converts Thunderbolt into pretty much a free 2-cost KO5. Really, really strong. This deck struggles with big bodies, which is why I'm running 2 Red Rocks. This is a really, really crucial card in certain matchups. If we're playing against Green Kid, this is pretty much... we need to see this card. There's no doubt there. And also in more like low to the ground orientated matchups, we can just do Hiyori and convert it into a trigger off of life, which is really good in those scenarios. And then running the Three Brothers Bond, I think, is pretty necessary. I would love to have this at 4, but I just think I like the deck how it is now. Because the whole thing is you need to find these 2-drops. If you don't get the 2-cost brothers in hand, you are not playing the deck. So having the Garp Searcher and the Searcher is going to allow us to get those as much as we possibly can. I know some of these lists run Pilaf. I've tried Pilaf, and I really did not like it enough. It just feels awkward in a lot of scenarios. You know, it's a great getting it off a Hiyori trigger, but honestly, I think this is just going to help increase the consistency, because Pilaf does not guarantee that we were able to grab one of these 2 costs. It just draws 2. So strong, but I like this one better. And then last but not least, let's talk about Pudding. Pudding, very strong card. And I think another staple in a lot of matchups. If people are hoarding cards in hand, and because you're swinging like 9Ks with lead and they're just taking, Pudding is going to be amazing. Really amazing tech card that honestly I think every blue deck should be running. So no different in this deck. And then X-Drake, let me talk about it real quick. Basically, it's a target for 5 costs. That's the main reason we're running it, but it's also really good to play out because you can set up your top 5 for the next turn, and I can make sure that one of the top is going to be one of these small brothers, so I draw into them, and I can also know what the other 4 are going to be, so when I use leader effect, I can be ready. Say I saw an ace, and a 2-cost ace in that top 5, I make sure I draw this, and then I make sure this one stays in that top 5. So I know the exact play I'm going to do next turn, increasing my consistency. So that's basically where we got the X-Drake and everything else in this deck. So let's go ahead and get into some gameplay. And getting into our game here, looks like we're going to be going against an Uta. And they actually put us on first. So how I like to mulligan with this deck, if I have any 2-cost brothers in hand, I'm pretty much keeping. I also have Makino in this hand. So it's pretty much a no-brainer because I can use Leader Effect into Makino on the next turn. He's going to have no plays, so we're going to go ahead and do Leader Effect here. We are going to be adding probably our Sabo to life, as we would rather just have the counter in hand if we can help it. And then we'll be playing about Makino, taking that one. And it looks like our life is actually pretty solid. So we already have Ace and Luffy in hand, or sorry, Ace and Sabo in hand. So let's get into Luffy and then put this red rock here when it's probably going to come in handy later. And put that right back. That's why you run Makino. Really, really good card, as I was saying, especially with going first. So we're going to swing 6 here. We do have the counter, but we probably just want the Luffy in hand, just in case we get it in one of our top 5. Now we have actually all of the 3 brothers. So going to see which one we get. Looks like we do get the Luffy. Exactly what I put the Luffy in hand. And at this point, we are pretty much just doing Luffy effect into Garp for this turn. And deploy this card here. Swing 9. Another great thing about Luffy is once you get him on board, if you do not have... looking at this, we see another Sabo. You also need to think how many of these cards you've seen. We already have a Sabo in hand, so let's grab another Luffy. We've seen another Sabo, so the odds are, with one in hand, that we aren't really going to see one again. But sorry, as I was saying about Luffy, say I didn't have like a Thunderbolt or anything to make use of my life in hand, it actually becomes very, very helpful. Let me actually, I'll counter this with Luffy. Actually becomes very helpful as it just always gives us something to do with life, pretty much, if we have nothing else to do with it in hand. That is the main thing with this deck. And yeah, he is drawing a million cards, which is exactly why I run Pudding. Pudding would instantly counter this and basically shut him down completely. But unfortunately, we are not drawing into that, so we are going to look at the top 5. That is a... Honestly, depends on what I want to do here. I do have the Sabo, and I could just activate his effect. Or I could do Thunderbolt this turn to KO the Nami and not cost myself a life, which isn't a terrible play. But I'd probably rather just buff my leader, truly. So let's go ahead and put Sabo in here. We're going to go ahead and do Sabo's effect. And let's go ahead and get rid of this Nami while we can. That was a red rock trigger. Honestly, could I trash bottom life? Oh, I probably should have trashed bottom life. That would have been a lot better. You live and you learn. So we're going to go ahead and go 9 and 9 here. And if he's playing for an 8-cost kid, if we get a red rock, it's going to be kind of wraps for him. I actually just trashed that out of life, so that probably wasn't the play, truly. Because I know this deck likes to play 8-cost kid. Obviously, he can't play it this next turn, but it is probably good just to keep these red rocks in hand, as we know we pretty much run this for the green matchup. And he's going to go ahead and draw once again. He's going to KO our Rest of Luffy for 2. That card is very, very strong. There is no doubt about that. And he's just going to go 7 on 7. I'll go ahead and take that, get the Garp into hand. And he's going to go ahead and play an Uta blocker and pass. So that is completely fine with us. Let's see what we get from this top 5. We do get the Ace, which is always great. Probably one of the best cards we can get with this deck. Going to buff leader, and with 5 remaining, I think we're just going to go double Ace. Yeah, I think I like double Ace here. So let's go 6 first, see what he does. We'll go another 7. I assume he takes this. I wouldn't be surprised. He does, and we'll go 9. He is going to block that one, and then we'll go another ace. We'll go 7 again. So putting the pressure on right now. And if he were to end up dropping a 8-cost kid this turn, we kind of need Red Rock. Oh, he's going to actually double swing at us. So we'll take this first one. We know this is a 1K counter. And let's do the math here. I'm not sure if we have the counter right now. No, we actually do. So we're going to get rid of these two, and then that is going to be wraps. And getting to our next game here, looks like we're going to be going against Blue Ivankov, which is pretty interesting. If I ever get the choice to go first or second, I'm pretty much always choosing second, as it just works better with our curve, right? You can, on 4 Dawn, you can do leader effect plus a 2-cost brother if you have it, so pretty great start. Wow, we have 3 2-cost brothers in hand, which is amazing. So we're going to play Garp this turn, see if we can get any more. Our only actual target is the Sabo, which is fine. We have 3 of them in hand. Obviously, we would have preferred a 2-cost Luffy there, but, you know, you can't complain, really. He's going to go ahead and drop the blocker Dofi. Completely fine with us. Let's just pretty much hope that we get anything but a Luffy, because we cannot do anything if we do not. Okay, we get a Thunderbolt, so if we do not get Sabo or Ace, we will make use of it, right? So we only get the Satori here. This is exactly why we run Thunderbolt, because we can just do this, make use of that, and then swing 7. So not bad. Showing why we run Thunderbolt in situations like that where we don't hit the card we want. That is going to be where Thunderbolt comes in handy. So even though he's only swinging 6 here, I don't like how many cards I have in hand, so we're going to go ahead and take. We do get the X-Drake, which we could play this turn, but I think I would rather go for a brother. It's a little riskier to do that, because if I whiff, I have nothing to do with it. So I think I'm going to be safe, and I'm going to play the X-Drake. So we did get the Sabo, but honestly, Sabo is not great. So let's go ahead and start placing on the top here. So I think we want to draw into 3 Brothers Bond next turn. And then we know Sabo's on the top, so that is fine. And then we're going to go ahead and swing 6. Probably going to counter out of this one if I had to guess. Which, if I'm Ivankov, I always do, yeah, and he's going to do that. So at this point in time, we'll see if he swings with his blocker or not. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. So he only gets Bonkle off of his Ivankov there, and he doesn't swing at me, which is very confusing. Maybe trying to play around Rush Ace, which I guess I understand, but not my favorite play. So we know the Sabo's on top. But we do get the Ace. Unfortunate. I only did that because my only target was Sabo, and I'd just rather have an Ace. And we do get punished here. Unfortunately, we're going to see not Sabo or Ace, but we do have the Sabo in hand, so we can make use of it. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's just, what does this guy do again? Trash 1 card, return a character 2 or less to the bottom of the owner's deck. Then this battle ends, return the character to the bottom of the owner's deck. Okay, that card is pretty bad. So let's go ahead and KO here. We will trash our top life, make use of that, and then swing 7. Despite having the brothers in hand this game, we really have not used them, which is pretty funny. And he does have the Sanji into Luffy, which I think he knew was there. So not terrible at all for him. And let's see if he swings here. He does actually swing 7, and we do get the Luffy. So there's no scenario in which we whiff a brother really here. We do get the Ace, which is kind of exactly what we wanted. So let's go ahead and play that out. And at this point in time, we're just going to start swinging face. So let's go ahead and go 7. See if he has the counter. If he does decide to get rid of all the counter in his hand, we get to get rid of this Ivankov for free, which I will now do. Going to get rid of that there. And then, honestly, probably just play Sabo raw. and not use its effect. We could have got rid of the Bon Clay, but honestly, that's not really threatening right now. We have a pretty decent board. And he does draw into the Perona, which is, in these situations with Ivankov, some of the best cards you can draw. Luffy is a bit scary right now, but X-Drake is making it really, showing why I run this card. It is also a blocker. It is our only blocker, which is a little scary in certain situations. But where you do draw it with cards like this Luffy on board, it is going to show why I run it for sure. So he'll go 9 to Sabo, actually. Very interesting. We'll go ahead and give him that. He doesn't really have many threatening attackers after that one, so if he does swing at Ace, we're probably just going to counter out. And it looks like he is going to go at Ace. That'll just be an easy 1K. Honestly, probably could have got rid of the Pudding there, because Pudding is almost unplayable in this matchup. But let's go ahead and see what we get from the top here. We do get another Ace, so this is a bit of a tricky situation because I can risk it and I can play this Garp out of hand looking for the 2 cost. In the scenario that I don't see it, I think we do just play safe here, unfortunately. I would love to look at that top 5 and just kind of go for it. Do we use the card action here? I think we actually do. We're going to get rid of his blocker. We trashed a Makino, so that's not all bad. Let's go ahead and swing at the Luffy here. And if he wants to if he wants to save it, that is all the cards out of his hand. And at this point, we are just going to go 9 at Sanji. And let's see what he gives. He'll give us a 1K. And then we go 10 at Sanji. Honestly, I'll go 9 again. And then at that point, play another Garp. He actually didn't have the counter, which is great for us. So we're going to play this over Garp, and we are going to grab... Wow, that is every single Luffy in our deck, pretty much. Not great to see, but we always want the 2 cost in hand, so we're going to keep that there. We still do have a blocker up. I don't think it's very easy to get rid of. And he only has Sanji and Mr. 2 on board. So in this situation, he's really not killing us. And then at that point, he can go a little under 10-10. So we can actually take this. We do get another 2K, which is pretty crucial. And at this point, he can do what he wants to do. But we're probably just going for game next turn. Because if I don't have to use this blocker, I'm in a really good spot. And it looks like he is going to go for it. Unfortunately, don't have another blocker, so realistically, I lose next turn if I use this guy. So we could go for the board clear. Get rid of this, and honestly, we'll get rid of that other Luffy because we saw enough. But honestly, I'd rather get rid of the Sabo. We might see another Luffy. Okay, the red rock here is pretty big, so let's go ahead and just go a little 7 at lead. He's gonna take. We will now go 6 at lead. Just trying to basically give him the least amount of Dawn as possible. Go another 6. Actually, let's go 7 here. See what he does. He gives it. So at this point, we're gonna go another 7 at leader. And 7 Dawn left. We're just going to get rid of you. And pass. So at this point, he doesn't run any rush cards. I don't even know if he runs any cards to get rid of blockers. So we are pretty much in the clear right now. Best thing he can do is probably drop a few blockers, but that's like the only thing Ivankov can do in this point. He doesn't really run removal. He could, I mean, technically he could be running like the 7 cost event. And with 7 Dawn left, I really don't know what you're playing with that. But we'll just block. I mean, there's no rush cards I have to worry about. I guess he could be playing like a 3-cost Dofi plus a... Oh no, he's going to surrender. And that is going to be the video, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the blue-yellow ace gameplay and have gained a little bit more appreciation for this deck, because I think people really are sleeping on this guy. He is a lot of fun, if nothing else. And I think there's just a ton of different ways to play him. Blue and yellow is a really fun color combination in general. And I think he's a great addition to the game. We're really looking forward to him. But anyways, you guys have a great day. I'm going to head out of here. Peace.